Darwin, at the very top end of Australia, is perhaps the last place you'd expect to find the running of the Shell Marine World Waterski Championships. Teams from around the world are here to compete for the world titles. We're about to witness some of the fastest and toughest waterski racing, reaching speeds in excess of 100 miles per hour. For all the teams, it's been a long way to come, and travelling by air is definitely the fastest way to get here. For those coming from the southern states of Australia, their trip took them approximately 4.5 hours. But for the many competitors coming from North America and Europe, they've been travelling in excess of 24 hours.
One of the perceptions that overseas people have of Australia is that everywhere is just next door to one another. And one of the lovely stories came from the Italians who called me from Italy and said, would you mind booking us a tour for our rest day? And of course I said I'd be delighted. And so they sent me a fax, and the fax said, please book us on a trip to Ayers Rock, Catherine Gorge and Kakadu, leaving early in the morning and coming home at night, which is really quite ridiculous. So the perception that they have was nothing like what it is.
Canada, USA, Germany, Italy, UK and Australia will each race 3 boats in the World Waterski Championships, 2 team boats and a reserve. The winners will be determined over the best of 4 races, accumulating up to 1,000 points per race based on their overall performance. By the end of the event, there will be 2 categories of winners, the best individual men's and women's, and combining all points will decide the overall winning nation. Race 1 of the World Waterski Championships will test skiers to their limit, taking skiers out to sea on an 8.8 kilometre square circuit. In the men's, skiers must complete 10 laps totalling 80 kilometres of racing, or 1 hour, whichever comes first. The women's will have to complete 7 laps totalling 60 kilometres of course, or 45 minutes. With today's strong onshore winds, conditions are rough.
It's 7 a.m. in the morning here in Darwin, and welcome to Fanny Bay. While most people are sitting enjoying their breakfast, we've got boats going to the water for the first of 2 events here today. This is the ladies' event for the World Waterski titles, and of course with the extreme tidal conditions here at Darwin, we've got to start this race early. 8 metres is the extreme of the tides. No defending champion here, Marsha Meyer from the USA. A injured arm in her last qualifying race in the US is missing from this. Picking up the scene here at the start, and we're waiting for that all-important flag to drop to get them racing, and down it goes, and the first of the competitors getting away. We've got Timmy Fidos from the Australia, Leanne Brown also from our country, and sitting down there is Leanne Hickey from the USA. We have got Cheryl Ruston and also Laurie Dunsmore, 2 of the very, very popular racers who spend most of their time qualifying and racing around Catalina Island off the west coast of America. And of course the weather conditions today here are not favouring the Aussie skiers. It's very, very choppy out there as we go to Paul's Pinks up in the chopper.
From the ground it looked tough, from the air it looks extremely rough. Very dangerous conditions lay ahead for the skiers here today as we see Mirage and Topgun the front runners as they crash through the waves.
It's going to be interesting to see, Paul, throughout the day, and we'll go back to him shortly, with how these new high-tech ballast tanks in some of these boats are going to work. And of course the theory is at the front of the boat they have a huge tank which can take water on in a matter of seconds and in fact create weight to break these waves up. And right now these are the conditions that these boats will need. One of the international teams, boat 157 from the US of A. And that is, of course, Laurie and Billy Dunsmore there. And we're just going back to a quick slow-mo replay. On the screen is Thundernuts, and Rebecca Atchison in all sorts of trouble, grabs a wave, and it's a bad start for the New Zealander in this first event. Back to the action on the circuit. Boat number 1, unmistakably Top Gun with Australian Leanne Brown behind on lots and lots of rope, and another skier down there. We'll try and pick that up in a moment as we see the drag race on at the moment. Go back to Paul Spinks. I'm just a little bit curious, Paul, what sort of speed are they doing at the moment?
The speeds are way down at the moment. Conditions, as we've discussed, are extremely rough. Normally these boats are capable of doing 100, 110 miles per hour. At the moment, we've got them clocked round about the 60, 65 miles per hour, which is extremely slow for these big boats.
The Sting, of course, the Britain entry with Gilly Clements behind the rope, doing it in fine form at the moment. Bearing in mind the Brits do most of their skiing out in the rough parts of the ocean surrounding Britain, and of course are very, very used to the conditions here today. In fact, if anybody is a little behind the 8 ball, it's going to be the Aussies. But don't let that deter anybody, as we see many of them doing very well through the field. Tad Davies in honours towing Australian competitor Timmy Fidos. They're doing quite well at the moment. And this is a view from Helmet Cam. In the boat, Black Magic. Valerie Bruschi, the Italian, is the skier behind it. Tony Wilson, the driver. And it just gives you an idea of just how rough it is out there at the moment. The observer course looking back towards the skier. He is the lifeline of information between driver and skier. And all these signals are most essential. Just adjusting the spray there out here on Fanny Bay and Darwin, and speeds at this stage up around the 140 kilometre mark. And from another camera angle you can see how Mirage is pounding the waves down the back straightaway. Picking up the 34 boat, this is +1, towing the English girl Rachel Casson. And a nice chopper shot as we go back up to Paul Spinks to give us a report on the update.
Lowest now here is Topgun, and it's drama for Leanne Brown. Although she's getting back into the water, everything could be okay. Tracking now beside Timmy Fidos for Australia, doing it nicely as they tackle the great race.
Swell not being any kinder to anybody as we're into lap number 2, and these kids are really doing it hard out there. As we said, Marsha Meyer not here to defend her title, but a strong American contingent as Timmy Fidos still continues on well around one of the other turns. You can see there by the braking up there. Oh, we've got somebody else in problem. We've got a replay coming back to us. It appears to be one of the American girls, in fact Cheryl Ruston behind Humble, and have a look at this one. Just too much slack rope. She tries to get back on it, tries everything, and down she goes. So Cheryl Ruston in problems, and we hope they can get back into their step as quick as possible. Picking up with Mirage, Leanne Hickey. As we go back to Helmet Cam, this is the Italian entry, Valeria Bruschi. They've had a fall, and that's what the red flag is all about, being displayed to warn other boats that they'll be turning about and going back. There is a skier in the water, and of course safety is paramount. Chopper shot there from Humble as we see the front runners coming around. Some of them not completing 2 laps then on their second lap coming around towards there. And we've got a heavy fall. It's the English girl, Gilly Clements, going down behind the Sting, and she's certainly taken a cropper in the water here at Darwin, and that will put her chances really behind the 8 ball for this, the first of the ladies' events for the World Water Ski Championships. Debbie Norblad, the favourite for this event, out there skiing strongly. Rachel Casson there battling the waves here at Darwin. Hope she has better luck than her partner in Gilly Clements. Gilly has retired from the event after only completing 1 full circulation of the 8.8 kilometre circuit here for the Women's World Water Ski Championships. Picking up boat number 17, Honest with Timmy Fidos skiing behind it. And they're skiing very, very strong at the moment. She's looking to take out some good points here today. 1,000 up for grabs, of course, for first, and then it pays back down the line. We'll describe that to you a little later on. With 3 laps remaining, American Debbie Norblad is in the lead behind Argo. In second place, coming on the screen now, boat 157 Suddenly. The other American lass, Laurie Dunsmore. And third in the race is Mirage with Australian Leanne Hickey. And we pick up 4th place, we pick up Paul Spinks in the chopper.
You're exactly right about the conditions in on the inside leg now on the shoreline. It's becoming quite smooth, the track becoming very fast.
Our director Peter Erb bringing us some wonderful pictures in slow-mo here. This is the rough conditions about 2 kilometres offshore here at Fanny Bay in Darwin. The American competitor out there battling, Debbie Norblad, of course, the skier. Faster part of the course now, we can watch the action. This is with less than 2 laps to go of round number 1. Race number 1 for the girls. There's 3 to go after this one. There's 1,000 points for first past the post in this, and Debbie Norblad is going for it. Debbie Norblad does all her training off the west coast of America, competes around Catalina Island and all those places where it's real tough stuff and rough water, is certainly showing her style as a strong skier here today in Darwin. She is very convincing and very dominating in this first of 4 rounds for the women's title for the World Championship, and the boat Argo doing it well as she comes around as the checkered flag is being prepared, and it's going to be the American lass Debbie Norblad who takes victory. It's a long way to go to compete this competition, but let me tell you, Debbie Norblad's going to be right there to the end of it. Here's the boat coming down the main straightaway. There's the checkered flag, a happy American girl. Behind her should be Leanne Hickey from Australia, followed by fellow Australian Leanne Brown, and then American Laurie Dunsmore as we pick up the Italian boat, Valerie Bruschi, who is 1 lap down. They are 1 lap behind the 5 others. That's, of course, Laurie Dunsmore and Timmy Fittis making out the 5 there, and they'll come across the line in 6th position. The other finishers, of course, will be Rachel Casson, Sherry Ruston, and Maurice Leclerc. Just watching the boats as they come back from the position in the centre of the course. All boats must remain there until the last boat goes over the finish line, and the Aussies very happy with their 2nd place, but of course it all belongs to Debbie Norblad from the US at the moment with 1,000 points.
In the women's, with USA in 1st and 4th position and the Aussies in 2nd and 3rd, it looks set for some very tough racing for the days to come. We asked Debbie Norblad, the winner of today's race, what conditions were like.
Extremely rough out there today, rougher I think than any that I've skied in. A lot of times we were going so slow out there, I would look up and see the boat and it was just straight up and down like that, and then they just did such a fantastic job of pulling me. It was just total team effort.
First of 4 championship events for the men's on the start line. Weather conditions better. Paul Spinks in the chopper.
Have a look at this brilliant start. Swell down a little here for the men's, and the Italians away as they lead the start.
Well, it's going to be a good one, this one. Defending champion Ian Dibble from New South Wales. Here in Australia is the man with all before him. 4 races, picking up the Italian entry there, Stefano Gregorio. He's a top little operator. And we also see Dennis Rowbottom there. He's pulling one of the New Zealand entries in the Island Cooler boat. The boat, of course, a little bit exclusive, a brand new Everingham. We'll talk about the boat a little later. Ian Dibble, of course, from Australia is the favourite in this event, being the defending champion. Fellow Australians Jason Campbell and also Paul Robertson are in with a good chance. But keep your eye on Marty Wells from the USA and our race leader at the moment, Stefano Gregorio from Italy.
Over the top now, Topgun and Firebird neck and neck. Jason Campbell and, of course, Paul Robinson, the 2 Aussies.
It's going to be a battle between these 2. Of course, Dipple's the one with everything to lose, and he's the one who's going to have to go the strongest over these 4 rounds. This is the first of 4. This is 10 a.m. in the morning we're starting this particular event. Now you can see some of the speed that these boats are attaining. We're expecting speeds on the smoother water at in excess of over 160 or 100 mile an hour if you like, and these guys are going to be trying that all the way around. The Italian boat may be very close to that speed now. He just goes out of the screen to the right. We've got Paul Robinson running 2nd place behind Firebird. Topgun in 3rd with Jason Campbell skiing behind that. And have a look at this. Robinson telling them to get up and get into it. They're chasing the Italians for the lead and top points in this first round. Picking up a couple of the lone entrants here as we pick up Warcry, the lone German entrant. All the way from halfway around the world, Bobby Furman. He's out there trying his best behind Warcry. Pick up some of the back markers now as the battle goes on. There's the Italians back on screen. And have a look at Gregorio crouching down. This guy's used to rough water. This would be a Sunday ride for him so far. None of the real rough stuff that he's used to around his native Italy. Firebird running 2nd place with Robertson behind, running well on the points. Campbell also on the show there. They're running 1, 2 and 3. Italy, Australia at this stage. +1. Macho, the 2nd of the outboards in this event, pulling Italian Carlo Casa. Adrian Heffernan, the driver there, and they're trying very, very hard. We've got the conditions here getting a little better, but we're going to see the power of the inboard there as we see Firebird go past. We're looking for Topgun at the moment. He's certainly pulling out some great horsepower around about 1,008. Challenge now for second place between the two Aussies. They're going for it. That's, of course, Campbell. And look at this one. Deschamps, the Canadian, has come down behind Starfire. Race leader, the Italian, Stefano Gregorio. There's the distance between first and second. Firebird running up there on the outside now of his other Australian counterparts. So the two Aussies have swapped spots, but the Italians in the 178 boat are still out in the lead. Stefano Gregorio, the skier, and this is around the 8.8 kilometre course. 10 laps to decide the first round of 4 to win the world's men's title for water ski racing. And a change in leaders. We've got Australia in front. Italy now slipping back to second spot, and anything a possibility with some laps still remaining. And of course at the moment Australia chasing 1,000 big points. That's maximum point score. Jason Campbell, the race leader now, just going around the outside of the Italian boat. You can see the observer, he's really getting into it. They're absolutely ecstatic, but don't let them get over enthusiastic because anything's a possibility. There's still a lot of chop out there as we go to Paul Spinks for race condition report.
Unbelievable stuff here. We can see that the men are extremely determined and just how fast it's going. I waved the helicopter pilot up myself to come up with the boats and he said no more. That gives you an indication just how fast they're going.
Race leader still for Australia, Top Gun, Jason Campbell out there. We pick up this great shot from the chopper as they're pacing him down there. And speeds are getting faster as we go down. Moonshot now into third place, and we're looking strong for a fast finish. And have a look, this neck-and-neck battle. We've got inboard and outboard, but let me tell you, that's not the race at all. Boat number 1 is the race leader, and he gets 1 lap to go. The blue flag is out as he comes past the home straight for the second last time. Boat number 1 pulling Jason Campbell. Tommy Hughes, the driver. Top Gun, the boat out of New South Wales. The Italians waving past as they've got 2 to go. In fact, they're 1 lap down, and we've got Moonshot going through with defending world champion Ian Dipple aboard. The boat being driven by Lester Fremantle. The field now going up to the most difficult part of the course. There's 4 straightaways, if you like, on this square course, and they're up the top end of the course, the furthest part out to the bay, and it's going to be rough water all the way home. The Italians on your screen at the moment are 1 lap down, and here is the 2 boys out in the lead. Have a look at the power of the Tommy Hughes boat as they go down. They've got only a quarter of a lap to go, and anything's a possibility. The 2 of them going for it, hammer and tongs. There's the checkered flag. There's Gregorio. He's getting up his pace. There's Dipple's boat as well, and there's Dipple skiing behind it. He's going for it, but there's the checkered flag, and the race leader coming in. Boat number 1 takes it. It's going to be Jason Campbell just in front of Paul Robinson. Not even a second separating him. Gregorio over the finish line, up down, and here comes Ian Dipple. He'll be sitting up there. We've got to work out some points from the times we've been given. Coming up on the Samsung electric timing computer at the moment, we've got Top Gun, the winner, from Firebird and Moonshot. So that's Australians 1, 2 and 3. Boat 157 going through now will be in fifth spot. That's suddenly the American boat pulling Marty Wells, followed by My 3 Sons and the Sting in 7th place. Australians will be happy coming 1, 2, 3, and of course nobody happier than Jason Campbell.
You know, it was a very close race. It was only like a couple of seconds between me and second place. Yeah, there's big rollers coming, especially the corner up there. I almost lost it on the first time around there. Just a big roll, about 2 foot high, come in and hit me when I was sort of 3/4 away around the corner and just threw me sideways. But as the race went on, it progressively got smoother, and the Italian was out in front, and we just eventually myself and Paul, who came second, eventually wore him down, and we wore Paul down a little bit.
I went good for me, I think, because it's very fast than the Canada air. It's different, and the race was real rougher, and it's different than Canada. It's faster.
Well, going down the front straight here was very fast. Going out, it was really rough. There was a really nice swell going, and going on the top turn, boy, was more like hell than anything else.
Compared to the Europeans, it was a really hard race here, especially fast, what I concern. In Europe, the races are more in more rough water on the sea and not as fast as these races here.
Race 1 of the men saw Australia in first, second and third. This is how the leaders stand.
And one of the men who's making these boats so refined for this regatta is Sydney mechanic, engine developer, Dave Handley. Dave, we've got a couple of things on this boat that the average person will not understand. 2 points. Firstly, handling of the boat is now refined through a ballast system. How does it work?
The way this one works, we've got to pick up the rear of the boat here, which the driver can control at any time. Picks up the water. It fills up the ballast tank that holds 75 gallons of water, and it can be dumped within 10 seconds and picked up within 20 seconds. You usually have about 80 pounds or 100 pounds of water pressure in an 1.25 inch diameter pickup. It can be dumped, it can be filled.
And weather conditions here can change, and of course the water conditions here can change rapidly. So what would you do? Say for argument's sake that down the back straight you've got rough water. Would you take on ballast?
He might take on, half the ballast, depending on the water conditions, and then get into the smooth water and dump it out whenever he needs to.
We've got this magnificent piece of engineering right beside it, which is all electric hydraulics. I'd call them cavitation plates. What's the word for them?
Trim tabs. And the way they work is depending on the position of the boat in the water. They can go up and down, they can lift the side of the boat, right, left, doesn't matter, whichever way you want to use it.
More high-tech stuff, all part of the World Water Ski Championships here at Darwin.
Race 2 in the Shell Marine World Water Ski Championships will keep the skiers closer to shore this time on a 5.4 kilometre oval course. Whilst it will keep them from the chop in the open waters, there will be an extensive increase in speed. The women will complete 60 kilometres and the men's 80 kilometres. With the wind down a little, the track is calm and very fast.
Okay. Go.
With American Debbie Norblad on top of the leaderboard after one round of the 4-round series to decide who's going to be the 1991 World Women's Water Ski Champion. We go to boat camp for the start with American Billy Dunsmore, Laurie Dunsmore, his wife, is the skier behind them. Hello, we've got a problem. Alex Herrera, the observer, has stopped Dunsmore. They're turning around, placing the flag up. What a rotten start as we go to Paul Spinks in the chopper.
Yes, very unfortunate start for the Americans, but the field ahead is very fast. We have the Sting and Argo and +1, all the leaders at this stage.
Race leader is in fact +1, Rachel Casson out of the UK, and she's got a good style going out in the lead at the moment. But the American Debbie Norblad, who into this race was on top of the leaderboard, is coming on very, very strongly. Humble also out there doing that as we go back to boat cam, and there's still problems for the Dunsmore boat. The Californians having all sorts of problems. It appears from the reports coming from camera position number 2 that they snapped a tow line. So they've got to do it all over again. This time up and at it. Billy Dunsmore, the driver. The observer is Alex Herrera, and the skier, Billy's wife, Laurie. Racing away in good water now, and there's been a change of lead. Rachel Casson has been run down. In the lead now is the lady on top of the leaderboard, Debbie Norblad. Leanne Hickey from Australia running in second place. And we pick up Argo now. This is Debbie Norblad's boat. There's Mirage in second place. Leanne Hickey behind this machine. Have a look at the speed they're picking up now. I'm suggesting they're up around the 100-mile-an-hour mark. Have a look at that for speed as they're coming down. We're back with boat cam and Billy Dunsmore. They're underway now. Laurie Dunsmore skiing quite strong behind the boat. It definitely was a ski line that broke. Now she'll go a lap down as Argo comes up beside her. They're going to try everything not to do that. There's suddenly the American boat, Billy Dunsmore, Laurie Dunsmore behind it, battling not to go a lap down from race leader, their fellow American Debbie Norblad in Argo. The Americans dominating so far in the event. It's up to this Australian girl, in Leanne Hickey to really lift her game and get amongst it, as we see the New Zealand entrant Rebecca Aitchison behind Thundernuts, well down in the field at the moment, but the one they've got to catch is Debbie Norblad, but coming back again strongly is Rachel Casson, the English girl.
Well into the race, and on the right of screen, Rachel Casson really starting to stand on the pace. A little dark horse earlier later on, but looking good. Argo, Debbie Norblad just been overtaken. Speed's well up now. We've got them at the chopper just on 160 kilometres an hour.
Plus one on your screen, boat number 34, carrying the English girl Rachel Casson in second place at the moment. She's just rounded up Leanne Hickey behind Mirage. That's the Australian lass, and she's now after the American leader in Debbie Norblad. Not only for the lead, but a chance at 1,000 points, and maybe it's going to be the English and the USA girl going down the line for the title. Syndicate in problems there, pulling Maurice Leclerc, the Canadian girl. And it looks like the Darwin Water Police going in there to help as we see the challenge on for first place. This is an absolute screamer. The race of the series so far, I think, for the ladies, as we see the race leader on your right of screen. And that is the American Debbie Norblad. And we see now that Syndicate being taken in tow and out of harm's way on the centre of the course. A job well done by the Darwin Police boys there. Still a battle for the lead going on while this rescue happens, and Debbie Norblad trying to hang on there. We pick up the Dunsmores once again, the other USA entry with boat cam, and Billy Dunsmore having a trouble-free run since that break of the ski rope earlier in the event. Laurie Dunsmore there waving him up faster and faster, and this girl's got some real pace when she gets going. But her counterpart, Debbie Norblad, is being challenged for the lead now. Have a look at this. Rachel Casson coming up beside her, and the English girl really going for it here. It's almost neck and neck, and she takes the lead again, it appears, from the angle I'm sitting at, and it's the English girl, Rachel Casson, going for the lead and 1,000 big points. Sitting in fourth position on your screen at the moment, the Italian entrants, the lovely Valeria Bruschi. A great view with boat cam. The boat is Sting, running 8th spot at the moment, towing Great Britain entry in Gilly Clements. And interesting to watch the observer's seat on the right as it flexes under the great forces from the 1,000+ horsepower of this massive big block Chevrolet at the back. Race leader +1 on your screen with Rachel Casson. She's doing it well at the moment.
Boat number 34, +1 on the inside, Topgun on the outside with just on 1.5 laps to go. Topgun, although, is 1 lap behind.
And the speed is really flying down here. Boat number 34, the race leader, Rachel Casson, is the skier from England and doing it very, very well. I hope she doesn't think that she's racing the leader at the moment, because as Paul just mentioned, that Top Gun is 1 lap down. In the meantime, the battle's still going for second and third, and that's going to be a good one, and they're not looking anywhere near this young girl on your screen at the moment. Rachel Casson looking strong as the race goes on. She's going for 1,000 big points. Here's second place at the moment. Mirage coming around with Australia's Leanne Hickey, and right behind her is the American leaderboard champion at the moment in Debbie Norblad. Anything a possibility for these two as we pick up Valeria Bruschi in Black Magic. Beautiful looking boat. Valeria well down at the moment from contention with the English girl coming up now. Here's a go. There's the race leader. 1 to go for her. The blue flag being displayed. That means there's 8.8 kilometres of this course remaining. And have a look at this. We've got the split of the wedge there. Bruschi's boat going to the outside of another skier there. We're picking up Humble in this one also, which is the other American girl, Cheryl Ruston. She's tucking in as well. But at the moment,